Hello, I'm Adriana. I'm a Master SoulPath Teacher and Guide. And for today's intuitive reading, I'm just opening up the space for higher guidance to come through, my guides, anybody else's guides who wants to come through and deliver messages. So we're going to start with an oracle card, and then I will switch to the tarot and we'll see where we go from there. All right, interesting. Something I talk about a lot, empowerment. So it looks like we're coming up to a place where you're going to have to make a decision, and this is about weighing all the options, being very careful about your choices. This doesn't feel like it's an emotional time, like I wouldn't make a snap judgment or an impulsive judgment based on how you feel. I believe this is about taking your time to really gather all the facts, look at all of the possible ways it could go, and really take your time to make a good decision, because the decision that's in front of you is going to affect much more than what it seems to be addressing. Okay, this isn't a funny thing like where should I go out to dinner, or what should I wear today. This is an important decision that's going to set you in motion for opportunities and for a particular path in the future. Let's see if I can get a little bit more about that as we go through the tarot. It's one of those crossroads or life-changing decisions that when you make the decision, it sends you on a course. It sends you on a course. It sends different situations, different opportunities, different people to you. And that's why it's very important to take your time making this choice. Don't rush into anything. Don't feel like you have to rush into anything. Really take your time and weigh all the options. Okay. Who wants to come out and talk to us? Oh, just had a bunch of cards fall out. What do you want me to do with these? You want me to keep shuffling, or do you want to keep... Okay, we're just going to go with these, actually. All right, King of Wands, Emperor, a lot of masculine energy, 3 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups, 7 of Swords. We'll go through this a little more in detail, but I just want to get everything out on the table so I can see where we're going. 2 of Swords, 3 of Swords, and then finally King of Pentacles. So we have the King of Wands on one side, King of Pentacles on the other. So we're bookended by the Kings. And so I'm going to say that whatever you're going through right now, remember that you are protected. Remember that there is divine guidance waiting to catch you if you fall, but also keeping you sheltered in this moment when you're trying to do the right thing, trying to get yourself on course. These 2 kings here are courageous. They are full of passion for life, full of love for life, but because they're bookending the rest of the cards, I feel like the message is very much about protection. So we'll get to their message in a second. Now, 5 of Cups is right... Okay, so I drew 9 cards, or 9 cards fell out. 5 of Cups is in the middle of this spread. Okay. Now, I feel like the 2 cups that are upright are talking about these 2 kingly energies. And are these energies within the person, or are these external energies? Okay, I'm getting it's a little bit of both. So I'm not quite sure how this all weaves together yet, but I'll go ahead and describe them. King of Wands, or I'm sorry, King of Pentacles is Virgo energy. King of Wands is Sagittarius energy in this deck. And King of Pentacles is a master at bringing material manifestation down to earth. So he's a master at blending the spiritual and the intuitive with the earthly and the practical. So someone who can kind of reach into that divine space where you get loving, practical help, and they bring it down to earth and they make it real. They also are they can help support other people financially as well as with other resources. So this is a very grounded, again, supportive, kind of a rock kind of a person. The King of Wands is more about courage and following your heart. And this is pure divine energy coming through. This is pure masculine energy, really. This guy is a little bit of a blend of masculine and feminine, but this is pure leadership. When I talk about divine masculine, I'm talking about leadership. I'm talking about the willingness to chart a course based on what your heart is telling you, and being so trusting of the universe that you know the details will work itself out. So these two have very different approaches to solving the problem. And we started, and this is interesting, this is card number 45, which is a 9. I literally drew 9 cards. So I feel like these are two different forces, either within yourself or they're outside of you, that are encouraging you to make the decision. One is saying, just follow your heart, it's going to be fine. The other one's saying, let's get a little more practical, kind of show me how all of this is going to work. Or maybe you're saying, show me how this is going to work. And the 5 of Cups is in the middle of that, and the 2 cups in the background are talking to me about these 2 kings. And so it's kind of saying, use the best of these 2 energies. So if these are 2 people in your life, use their best qualities to inspire you. Use their best to help you move forward, because right now you're worried about, I think there's regret, there's sadness that is clouding your judgment. And I'm getting the words, the heart is afraid to open to the past. And I'm not quite sure what my guides mean by that. But the heart, so your heart is afraid to open to the past. I don't know if that's about opening to the lessons that you learned in the past, or opening to the past as a teaching, as something to teach from. Okay, I'm going to come back to that because it's not clicking yet. All right, so where do we go next with this? So the Sword cards are all on the side of the King of Pentacles. And so I think a lot of these practical considerations are getting in your way. We've got the 7, the 2, and the 3. So the 7 is calling you onwards, calling you to figure out, what does your heart really want to do here? And this card feels like there's a bit of a mental crisis going on, where you're either very confused or very conflicted, or you just can't get the mind to calm down and focus on what it needs to focus on. And I feel like there's the fear of making a mistake here. And I think, okay, that's starting to make sense. So the fear of making a mistake with these 2 cards, not with these 2 cards, but these cards are suggesting to me that you are afraid of making a mistake. And that's why they were saying you're afraid to open your heart to the past. You're afraid to forgive yourself for what happened in the past. And the problem is when you're not allowing yourself to forgive yourself for what happened in the past, you're still holding it in your energy field, and the worst will come true. You will actually manifest it again. You will actually see it come back in to your life again. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where you think, well, I really made that mistake, and it was terrible. I was devastated by it. I didn't listen to myself, and I got myself in this situation, and when it ended, it was the end of the world for me, and I can't go back and redo it, and I wish I could. And yet when you don't just say, look, I didn't know better, or look, I really learned from it, I need to forgive myself and move on. You hold yourself to that lower energy. You hold yourself to the failure instead of the gift, or instead of the growth. And everything that seems to fail, if you look at it in a different perspective, it is actually a gift, because it teaches you something. I don't really think there's any such thing as like a failed relationship, because every relationship teaches us about ourselves. Yes, maybe the relationship didn't work out. Maybe, yes, there was emotional loss, or there was loss of self. There was maybe loss of self-esteem. There were some heavy things that came out of it, but wasn't this relationship also teaching you that you could heal and build those things for yourself? Or that, hey, there really was a problem here that I didn't realize. On the lighter side, relationships teach us about our preferences and what's really important to us, our values. So even when they don't work out or they fail, they teach us more about who we really are. And also, depending on what's going on with your astrological chart, you may be one of these people here that has to learn through relationships with others. I know I am. I have a lot of placements, a lot of important placements in the 7th house, and a lot of placements opposite that in the 1st house. So it's kind of the tension between the two, the self and the others. But most of my learning and growth has to come through the others, through helping others, through being there for others. And that may be the case for you. And if that's the case, so I'm using myself as an example, but there are other ways this could go. I have to learn about myself through engaging with others. And that doesn't mean that every relationship stays forever, because I'm learning about new parts of myself. So it's all a process of self-discovery. And so every relationship really is a gift, even if it ends horribly or if terrible things happen in it. It's a gift because it's teaching you to be a better partner to yourself, to be a better person for yourself. And that's where this forgiveness is really important, because the other side of this lack of forgiveness, or the fear of making a mistake, is what is blocking some physical manifestation for coming through to you, from you to being as powerful as you could be on the physical level. So please keep that in mind. That is the inner work that is asking for your attention right now. Self-forgiveness, so that you are no longer afraid of repeating your mistakes. On the other side, we have the creative energy. I talked about leadership with the King of Wands, but he's also just kind of the embodiment of creativity. Our second message with that, 3 of Wands, also another highly creative card. And I think that there is a very abundant opportunity in front of you to work with other people, to work with someone else on creating a better future, a more solid future for you. This person may be an advisor role for you, the Emperor. It may also be a masculine energy partner that helps you build that stability. But the 7 of Pentacles is kind of, this one feels like pressure to me, that we need to get moving on this. It's time to move forward. All right. So going back to our decision, the decision to forgive yourself, the decision to be unafraid of your past mistakes, to be willing to make another mistake actually, so that you can keep learning. That's really the big life lesson we're learning here. And when you decide to forgive yourself, when you decide to embrace your mistakes as part of your growth and your mistakes as your teachers, then I think you will feel the feeling of empowerment. The feeling that, yeah, okay, I did mess up, but I can do it again. I can do better. I'm in control of this. When we don't own our mistakes, we kind of feel like we're at the mercy of them. And that's a much weaker, more martyr, victim aligned energy than the empowerment. Okay, yes, I'm going to be responsible for myself, responsible for my mistakes. If I make a mistake, it's okay, it's on me. It's really an interesting psychology. It's a different psychological game we have to play with ourselves to not be perfect, to welcome learning. If you have a lot of Virgo or Capricorn, you may find it hard, or even Sagittarius, you may find it hard to want to make mistakes because of that emphasis on perfection. So just keep that in mind too, that this may be something you're looking at longer term than just this, what's applicable in this reading. The World, the Fool, so a cycle starting again, and the Prince of Wands, another creative cycle. Now, the Prince of Wands earlier today was talking to me about vitality. I'm not quite sure what his message is right now, so where are we going with this? This is one of those moments where your guides are saying, back up, hang on, because there is so much creative potential. There are so many possibilities. There are so many different ways you could approach the future. There's different things you could ask for. There are different things you could manifest. And all it takes is being full of courage in your heart. And that's where, again, that making mistakes, we have to let go of that. Either there are no mistakes or mistakes are a good thing. Either one of those thoughts will be more helpful to you than the way you're thinking about mistakes right now. Because this is about really going after that future that you want, really trusting and going after that future that you want. There is nothing stopping you from reaching your goal except you right now, except the blockages that you're feeling with all these thoughts about the past and about the present and again, mistakes. There's nothing blocking you from that. This is completion, the world. And the Fool going into the world, or when these show up together, we're talking about a new cycle starting. And I feel like this is a really golden opportunity right now to realize that we are infinite potential, really. When we're connected to the right place, when we're connected to our heart and the courage and the fire to really follow the divine path, to follow the whispers of your intuition, to follow the way your soul is asking you to go, there really is so much potential, and there's so much richness that's available in your life because it takes you out of the box. It takes you to new places. It challenges you in new situations. And I guess that's what I'm feeling, is that there's so much potential for new. There's so much potential for a starting over. I talked about the number 9 before with the empowerment card and the 9 cards. 9 is the number of completion. It's the number of finishing. And when you finish something, you start something else. So we're wrapping up the old. So we just have a little bit of homework to do with that, with the mistakes, with forgiving yourself with the past. And so that we can step into this new, so that we can step into a different, more vibrant and more, I think there's going to be more adventure and more excitement in this new phase that you're entering. It just kind of feels like there's something waking up for you. There's something starting to shift. There's a change coming, a good change. And all you have to be is open to the potential for positive change. There's a lot of butterflies on this Prince of Wands card, and I had a lot of butterfly visitors today visiting some flowers I had planted, and so that's really kind of a special message to me. The butterflies were landing on these pink flowers, and so this is about transforming the way our hearts interact with us and with the way our hearts interact with the world around us. I think in general, we've been being asked to open our hearts and to kind of fill the space up bigger than we have in the past. So maybe like you thought your heart was only this big, but really it's actually more like this big, but you're starting to understand that it's more like this big or this big or this big. The expansiveness of our hearts is going to surprise us on the different places it's going to take us. This is also, this Three of Wands card is also the card of birth, rebirth, new growth. And Prince of Wands is that inner child. So I think we are talking about a new moment of starting again, a new birth, a new present. Okay, let's go ahead and close. I like this message. Okay, this is you are worth it. Your dreams are worthy of being listened to. Your dreams are worthy of being fulfilled. And this is about being really gentle and kind with yourself and telling yourself, yes, I am worth it. Yes, I am worth it. Feeling you are, not just saying it, but feeling that you're worth what you're asking for. And that you deserve exactly what you like. You deserve what your heart wants. And that is the key really to taking this energy and running with it, is believing that you're worth it, believing you deserve it. Okay, because there's infinite potentials open to you right now. As we're expanding our hearts, as we're resolving our pasts, there are more and more of that infinite potential waiting. All right, thanks so much for joining me. If you would like a reading, soulguidancewithAdriana.com is my website. You can sign up there, or you can email me directly. Both are in the description below. And I will look forward to seeing you soon.